Good morning, class. I'm Dr. Rashmini Katule. I'm Assistant Professor in Community Medicine Department, and this is the continuation of previous class, that is MCH class, Matern and Child Health class. And today we will discuss preventive medicine in obstetric, pediatrics, and geriatric. That some part of from this chapter, continuation of ANC. Uh, the composition of total population in which major chunk is reproductive age group women and children. So mother and child constitute the priority group in the whole population. If we take care mother and child group unit, automatically our 50 to 60% population or automatically cover in prevention category, in which 7% are pregnant and lactating mothers, 14% are under 5 women, under 5 children, 19% is women childbearing age group, that is 15 to 44 years or 15 to 49 years as per epidemiological definition by WHO, and 40% children under 15 years of age group. That is, whole composition is about 59% of total population. So this is the major chunk of our population, out of which 9% is geriatric population currently present in India, 9 to 10%. So this mother and इधर ही लिखना है ना, कहाँ लिखना है? चैट 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 ये क्लोज करो. Visible. नहीं बोल रहे हैं. We are checking for PPTs. Wait for some while. Audible रहेगा ना? ओके. ओके. हाँ, एक बार पूछ लीजिए. हो गया? Hopefully the PPTs are visible now for you people. The most vulnerable group and having special risk group is mother and child unit, so we have to take care for that. 50% of all 50% of all deaths in first 5 years of life in developing countries like India is happen in first year of life. So if we take care of first 100,000 days in our life, so that prevalence of mortality due to various kind of diseases, we can reduce that. So first 5 years of life for the child is very important, as well as antenatal period and postnatal period, and during delivery also. The period is very important. Maternal mortality rate per 4 by 1000 live birth currently present in the India, I'm talking about 1,000 live birth, not about 10,000 live birth. Okay. And sickness deaths are largely preventable in this age group because of like PPH during ANC period due to anemia, because of abortions, because of malformation, malnutrition, postpartum hemorrhage kind of diseases are there. So these are very obvious diseases in developing countries like India, but they can be easily preventable by simple measures, by simple program, and by simple guidance. So we are taking this as a very vulnerable group, a maternal child, and we are taking care it as a maternal child health unit, a complete unit. Mother and child is a complete unit. During ANC, fetus is a part of mother, that is in the womb. Baby stay there for 280 days. This is the definition for full-term pregnancy. The child health is closely related to maternal health, because whatever nutrition, whatever food supply is there, that is through the mother only. If mother is anemic, if mother is having certain diseases like syphilis, like measles, if she is taking alcohol, smoking, and certain drugs, that obviously affect on the fetus or children, and it cause intrauterine death, intrauterine growth retardation, malformation in a children, in the baby. So it is very important to take care before pregnancy also. It is not like that you have to take care during pregnancy only. From the adolescent, from the childhood only, we have to start taking care of female child, because nutritional status of female child is very important during pregnancy and during birth also. So during childhood, during adolescent age, and the period previous to the pregnancy, that is very important, because that directly affect the status of children, status of fetus. So mother is very important. She is playing very important role for the future generation, as we all know. After birth, child is completely depend on mother for breastfeeding, for nutrition, for weaning also, and mother and baby they play a very important role. They the support of mother, caring, sharing of mother, that bond between mother and child is very important. Because of that bond, baby feels very secure, safe environment. That is very important for physical as well as mental growth of the child. So that complete dependency and support to the mother is very important during the postpartum period also, and during the childbearing age group also, means during reproductive age group also. Postpartum care is very important. Neonatal and family planning advice as well as is very important after that period, after delivery of baby. And as we all know, mother is the first teacher of the child, so we have to educate, aware, and give proper guidance to the mother, so that she can avoid the very common diseases and malnutrition kind of diseases she can easily prevent to her child. So we have to aware, we have to educate our mothers in the community, so that our future generation and that fetus and babies will born more healthy. क्या हो रहा है प्रॉब्लम? स्लाइड्स नहीं विजिबल हो रही है, तो यूट्यूब पे नहीं देख सक रहे हैं.
Welcome. Thank you for choosing conference. Your people around communicate. We are 5 participant friends. Participant muted.
बोलिए तो एक बार बहुत दिख रहा है कि नहीं कर पूछिए
Slides are visible now.
आप दिख रहे हो यस हो गया ठीक आप दिख रहे हैं यस बोल रहा है
ठीक है
एक्सप्रेस किया है आ गया बोल रहा है
ओके
टिकट डिलीवरी
Now we will discuss, hopefully you people can see the slides now. Now we will discuss maternity cycle. As we all know, it starts from the fertilization, initial 14 or days of fertilization, the sperm and ovum fertilize and zygote form, and after that it progress into the fetus. That it comes into antenatal period, intranatal and postnatal period. Antenatal period or prenatal period is period before the pregnancy, and intranatal period means during the pregnancy, and postnatal period after birth of the child, whatever period is there, it called as a postnatal period. And interconception period, in which, so this is the basic idea for the maternity cycle. Then for in prenatal period, the ovum, we called it as ovum, fertilized egg and sperm, we called 0 to 14 days, we called it as ovum. Then from 14 days to 9 week, we called it as embryo, and after 9 weeks to the birth, we called it as a fetus. If is born between 28 to 37 weeks, then we call it as a premature infant, and after 280 days or complete 40 weeks, we called it as a full-term baby. There are various problems. If anything is there, problems must be there. But during in MCH, maternal and child health, so many problems are there because of so many social factor, cultural factors, genetic factor, and because of lack of education also, and because of infection also. So this is not a single thing. Various components are effective responsible for the various problems regarding the MCH, in which perinatal problems are there, congenital malformation is there, genetic and certain behavioral problems are there, spacing of pregnancies are there, limitation of family size is there, prevention of communicable diseases, and nutritional problem is also there, and acceptance of whatever problem present is there. that is also I have problem, that is also that negligence is also one of the problem regarding MCH. So during prenatal periods, where if mother is anemic, mother is having measles kind of thing, having gestational various problem regarding perinatal period, is that we already that you people will see in gynecology. So if it is present, then automatically it will hamper the growth of baby. In congenital malformation, if during first trimester or second trimester, if mother is taking certain kind of drugs, if she is taking alcohol, smoking habits is there, then certainly it will affect baby's growth, and that nutrition supplement is lacking. So because of that, malnutrition or growth retardation of the fetus can happen. If mother is not taking iron and folic acid in first trimester, after that iron and folic acid with calcium supplementation should be taken by the mother, because in Indian setting anemia is very prevalent, that is 70 to 90% in reproductive age group women. So anemia is major cause for threatened abortion, for congenital malformation, spina bifida kind of thing. So a simple iron deficiency can cause congenital malformation in many babies. And if genetic disorders, if thalassemia is present in the mother, or sickle cell disease is there, if mother is HBsAg positive, if HIV is there, diseases plus genetic disorder if present during pregnancy to the mother, so it automatically affect the baby's growth, and that disease can transfer during in first or second trimester to the babies also. So healthy pregnancy is essential for growth and development of the baby. If spacing is not proper, if mother is not using any contraceptive, and she's in contact with a regular in contact, so and breastfeeding is not proper there, automatically that conceive rate is more in the female, and it is mostly in uneducated and less educated women, that reproduction rate is very high in that female. So spacing is also one of the issue. Every year, if she is being pregnant after 1 or 2 years, if there is no proper spacing between two children, that is minimum 3 years, that automatically deteriorate the health of the mother as well as health of the child. So importance of family size, limitation of family size, spacing of the pregnancy, education of communicable disease like hepatitis, malaria, dengue, tuberculosis, leprosy is very, and HIV kind of thing is very important in rural as well as urban slum, and it is not required. Affluent society is also well aware and educated about the all these things. So many affluent society of affluent females are there, affluent society females are there, that all at all not aware about the proper contraceptive methods also, and proper breastfeeding practice also. So we have to educate them with the help of proper communication, advice by using mass media for the awareness program. So all these are the problem. Along with that, we have so many social stigma, taboos, and traditional practices are also there, that is very harmful. That likewise home deliveries are there, delivery through that certain baba, with the help of some babas and all, that is very prevalent in India. So that is also increase the risk of maternal death during the pregnancy. So awareness is the education is the best media to reduce all this problem. In all the problem, malnutrition is very important to address, because it is like iceberg that only we can see the tip of the problem, but under the level, water level, it is very big problem. The adverse effect of malnutrition is like maternal deterioration of maternal health, low birth weight baby, anemia, toxemia of pregnancy, or various kind of infection during pregnancy or after pregnancy, and postpartum hemorrhage. So malnutrition is like devil for the Indian women. So that since years and years female are not taking proper nutrition, nobody is there to guide them, so that health status of female is going to deteriorate year by year. So nowadays it is going to improve because of so many programs are there, and they are taking some help from ASHA, and some kind of awareness are there, but all these problems are because of anemia and malnutrition, nutritional anemia and malnutrition. So we have to address malnutrition first, and this should be our agenda to reduce malnutrition in the women under 5 children and adolescent girl. And again, malnutrition can cause low mortal. If adequate birth weight is not there, that is low birth weight baby is there, automatically the mortality can be high. Period of weaning is very important for babies. To reduce the malnutrition, means after exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months, the weaning period start, that is complementary feeding. Nowadays we are not talking about, we use word complementary feeding. That is very important, because if we are not giving proper food, nutritional value of that food is not proper, then automatically whatever weight of the baby and growth of the baby, that deteriorate. If susceptible to various kind of infection and severe illness is present if during the pregnancy or in the child, it is also to address that, it is also important. And to improve the nutritional status, we have to deal all the things in that. What are the direct interventions we can do to reduce malnutrition? That is, first is supplementary feeding program and distribution of iron and folic acid tablet. Supplementary feeding program is in Anganwadi for adolescent girls, for NC mothers, and for children up to the 6 years. They are giving food supplementation. It is not food replacement, it is a food supplementation. That means they are giving additional food, whatever food they are taking at home, that they have to eat. Along with that, whatever food they are taking from the Anganwadi center, they have to eat that also. So it is a additional food, so that whatever malnutrition or nutritional problem present in the female or pregnant woman, adolescent girl, or under 5 children, they can address that. And distribution of iron and folic acid tablets are also there. On the initially it was on daily basis, but nowadays that program, Anemia Mukt Bharat program, converted that weekly tablet to the thrice a week or twice a week tablet, so that they provide twice a week for the adolescent girl and daily for the ANC mothers. And indirect measures we can do that: control the communicable diseases. First, if mother is having tuberculosis, if any infection is there, leprosy is there, malaria is there, we have to address that. We have to give proper advice and proper treatment for that to the mother. We have to send to the primary health center if she is there. She should take all the treatment for that communicable disease, along with that iron and folic acid. The environmental sanitation plays very important role to reduce the malnutrition, because if as environmental sanitation is not proper, that rodents, mosquitoes, flies will be there, and it will affect the all the food habits and infect the all food and water. Because of that infected food and water, that continuous deterioration, or all the communicable disease can happen because of that flies and rodents and all. And that vicious cycle will goes on. Less intake of food, after that continuous illness, it will deteriorate the health of mother and child, and that vicious cycle will go on. So environmental sanitation plays very important role in that. Clean drinking source of water should be present at the house. And what is the importance of clean drinking source, we should tell them. Family planning is playing major role in that, because if proper family planning is not there in the family, that family size will grow. And because of their poor socio-economic status, they are not able to handle that family size. So importance of small family should we have to tell them. Then food hygiene, health education, and primary health care facilities, whatever present in that area, they have to take help of that. They have to take advantage from that. We have to tell them, that mother and their whole family. The what infection, we have infection are playing very important role in malnutrition. If maternal infection cause if mother is infected with certain infections, then it can cause IUGR, that is fetal growth retardation, low birth weight babies, and various embryopathies, abortion, threatened abortion, and sepsis kind of thing. 25% of women in rural areas suffer at least one of the UTI infection. UTI infection is very common in the female because of poor hygiene, poor personal hygiene. So infection control should be there. In the children, traditions are playing very important role in India, because in rural settings they have certain beliefs and taboos regarding deliveries, regarding ANC period, regarding colostrum, regarding breastfeeding. During ANC period, for example, during ANC period, papaya, we shouldn't eat papaya because it is very hot kind of fruit. We shouldn't eat curd because it's very cold. Hot and cold therapy is there, I don't know what is that. But we shouldn't eat ghee because that make that birth passage very slippery, and baby can sleep from the that womb. That kind of various traditional beliefs and taboos, their myths are there. And we can't eat fish during pregnancy, we can't eat hot substance like jaggery and all, we can't eat groundnuts, we can't eat. That is very nutritious. Jaggery and groundnut combination is very nutritious. It gives energy, calories, as well as iron also. But so many taboos are there, so people believe that, and less food intake is there for the mothers, and automatically deteriorate the mother's health. And because of deterioration of mother health, that IUGR baby happen. And because of intrauterine growth retardation, that baby is very susceptible to other diseases. So this vicious cycle goes on. So in India, that traditional and beliefs, we have to, whatever positive thing we have to promote that, and whatever negative thing we have to give explanation for that, and we have to convince that to other people that this is wrong practice, we have to go for the good practice. So all these are children related things we have to take care. Prevention and treatment of infection, that it is important for part of maternal and child health care. Immunization against 6 infection, immunization, whatever universal immunization protocol is there, we have to follow that. Application of TT, TD, Application of TD injections during the pregnancy. As soon as pregnancy confirmed, we have to give first dose and second dose after 1 month of that. Education to the mother, that is oral rehydration therapy for the diarrhea is very useful and used for that, and free sachets are present in the primary health care subcenter, any government setup as well as in private setup. Personal hygiene, maintenance of personal hygiene and proper sanitation, and importance of that we have to tell them. Uncontrolled reproduction is one of the major problem in India. It can if we give proper spacing, or if we control the reproduction, then we can prevent low birth weight babies, we can prevent severe anemia or anemia kind of thing, abortions we can prevent, APH, that is antepartum hemorrhage, high maternal and perinatal mortality we can prevent, and all the malnutrition related things we can prevent by controlling the simple reproduction method. Family size, it is a striking impact on health of the mother and child. The integrated family planning in the MCH is very important, where there are various kind of intrauterine devices and oral pills are there. That is very safe technique for termination of pregnancy, for sterilization of female, and for birth spacing also. So we have to tell them there's effects also, positive effects and as well as side effects also, and they can use by the cafeteria approach, whatever possible and best possible combination is there, they can use that, and whatever family size is there, they can restrict that family size, and importance of family size we should tell them. Nowadays is very common. Mother and child health care is not a single thing, it is promotive. It should be promotive, preventive, curative, rehabilitative healthcare for the mother and child. That in a single way, it should be comprehensive approach. In a single way, we can't reduce the mortality or morbidity among the mother and child. We have to use the wholesome approach to control the mother and child health diseases and promote the better health. So comprehensive approach for mother and child health is very important. The specific objectives of maternal child health is reduction of maternal, perinatal, infant and childhood mortality and morbidity, promotion of reproductive health, promotion of physical, psychological and development, and objective for MCH services is a lifelong health. All these are the objective. When you will write the MCH services, you have to add all these objectives in that, and after that whatever objective, all these objectives you have to elaborate in the paper. Now coming to the antenatal care. Antenatal care is the care for the woman during pregnancy. It is to achieve at the end of the pregnancy healthy mother and healthy baby should be there, and beginning soon after the conception and continues throughout the pregnancy. It's not like soon after the conception. Nowadays during the adolescent period only we have to take care of the female child, so that her antenatal care can be easy and whole pregnancy can be severed. The objective of that is, it should be promotive, protective and maintain the health of the mother during the pregnancy. Second is to detect high risk cases. Third is give the specific attention to the high risk cases. Fourth, to prevent the complications, and fifth, to remove the anxiety and whatever problem associated with the deliveries. All these are the objectives for the antenatal care. Then followed by to reduce the maternal and infant mortality and morbidity. This is also one of the objective. We have to deal antenatal care, to teach the mother element of the children, child care, nutritional, personal hygiene and environmental sanitation, to sensitize the mother to feel need of family planning, and to include the including the advice in cases to seeking MTPs. All these are the objectives for the antenatal care. If you elaborate all these objectives, automatically your LAQ will solve. Then antenatal care is visit should be ideally it should be at every month, but because of lack of awareness, or people aren't bothering about the pregnancy and all, it should be minimum antenatal visit should be 4, and maximum like at every month for first 7 months, after twice a month during the next month, 8 months, and once a week in 9 months. That should be ideal antenatal visits. Social and in this we will cover your practical as well as theory part also. So some part of your history taking I'll try to cover in that. The social and family history is very important. It must take it must be taken in the detail. The complication of the pregnancy are main consequence of poverty and ignorance, malnutrition and excessive smoking, cigarette or alcohol or tobacco, BD, cigarette, any kind of addiction we have to include in that history taking. Any history of diabetes, hypertension, any kind of surgery, trauma we have to take in that. Educational history, income history and standard of living, we have to address all that. Menstrual history also is very important. Her last LMP we should know. Then we will note out her last LMP and how was her cycle, regular cycle, that we have to take in detail. Then medical history, for that complete CVS cardiac examination, respiratory examination, abdominal examination, everything we have to check thoroughly by inspection, palpation, percussion and auscultation. And surgical history, any kind of trauma, blood transfusion history, surgery, we have to ask for that. And any kind of infection was there or not, we have to ask, because if she is taking any kind of the pregnant lady is on any kind of treatment, we have to take care baby as per that. Then preventive services for the mother, that is for that we should know perinatal services. We will tell her all the perinatal services are available in that. And during first visit, what history we have to take, we will tell her that. And what kind of treatment, what treatment she should start, we will discuss that. That is folic acid and calcium tablet. Along with that, if any other diseases are there, that. And avoidance of exposure to the X-rays and trauma. If a regular cycle was there, then as per that hormonal therapy and all. If jaundice and other problem is there, that all we will address in that first meeting. And abdominal examination, I think you people is very well aware about the abdominal examination. In inspection, the size and shape of abdomen should be noted. Linea nigra or stria gravidum, we have to is visible or not, we have to see that. Scar of previous surgery is present or not. If LACS is there, that is automatically comes under the high risk pregnancy. If second time she previous pregnancy, if LACS was there, then that mother is in high risk pregnancy. In the palpation and other things are also there. Peristaltic movement is there or not, any kind of cyanosis in the central part of the abdomen is there not, we have to see be cautious about that also. In the palpation, all the small part, fetal part, we have to palpate. Attitude and engagement using the pelvic grip, that is for second, third and fourth, we have to check that. Palpation reveals the whether uterus is relaxed or amniotic fluid is adequate or not, that will tell all that. In the first examination, we have to take check all this, height, weight, everything you know about that. We will not go in detail about that. This is the chart how patient come and how we have to address. Then for the abdominal examination, all this grips you all know. This is the fundal grip. This is the with the hand you can check the limbs and back and what is the position of baby in the abdomen. This is the bridge presentation in first part, and second part is cephalic presentation. Most common is cephalic presentation. The abdominal palpation, this we will check how head is engaged or not. In palpation, we will assess fundal height by edge of the palm. In 12 week, it's just palpable above the symphysis pubis. 16 week up to the lower 1/3 of the distance between symphysis pubis and umbilicus. In 20 weeks, up to the 2/3 of distance between symphysis pubis and umbilicus, and 24 week at the level of umbilicus. 28 week up to the lower 1/3 of the distance between umbilicus and xiphisternum. 32 weeks up to the 2/3 of distance between umbilicus and xiphisternum. 36 weeks at the level of xiphisternum, and 40 weeks fundus should be descend to the level to the 30 weeks because of engagement of the head. So all this is the examination part. Then we will go to systemic examination. In that CVS, CNS, abdo and RS examination should done, and in that inspection, palpation, percussion and auscultation we have to thoroughly do that. In auscultation, normal fetal heart rate is 40 per minute. Fetal heart rate less than 120 up to the 40 is normal. If it is less than 120 per minute or greater than 160, it is suggestive of fetal distress. That was the old method of to check the fetal heart sound. For laboratory examination, we have to do in the visit, we have to do urine analysis, stool examination. If a certain infection is present, sign and symptoms are there, then stool examination. Complete blood count, hemoglobin estimation. If any history of certain disease, then serological examination, RH blood grouping and RH determination. Chest X-ray is not needed. If it is a case of TB, then microscopy we will go for confirmatory test, that is microscopy. Chest X-ray we will not do in any kind of disease. If it is required, then after specialist advice only we will do that for chest X-ray. Pap smear, if facility available, HIV and VDRL test. On subsequent visit, physical examination, urine examination and HB estimation we will do. We will advise for iron and folic acid supplementation to the lady, immunization against tetanus toxoid and tetanus diphtheria. Nowadays TD vaccination is there, it is upgraded because prevalence is increased for the diphtheria in the adolescent, in the adults also. That's why TD vaccination. Then family planning advice, self-care and breastfeeding advice we will give to the mother. If now coming to the risk approach, if mother is in high risk group, that is it is elderly preemie, that is above 30 years and over that. If short stature mother is there, malpresentation, that is breech, translie is there, then it comes under high risk pregnancy. APH, threatened abortion, previous threatened abortion is there, then it comes in high risk pregnancy. Preeclampsia, eclampsia and anemia is there, then it comes under high risk pregnancy. If twins are there, polyhydramnios or oligohydramnios is there, that is also high risk pregnancy. Stillbirth, intrauterine device, manual removal of placenta is there, that is also comes under high risk pregnancy. Elderly multigravida means more than 4 children it comes, then it is also high risk pregnancy. Prolonged labor or prolonged pregnancy is there. Then all this, any kind of diseases, kidney diseases, liver diseases are there, it comes under high risk pregnancy. If short note comes for high risk pregnancy, you have to address all these for that. Maintenance of record is very important because of for the pregnancy tracking. If any kind of previous health issues are there, if mother is not taking proper iron and folic acid, or she is not coming for the visits, she is not coming for the ultrasound, then a pregnancy record is helpful to address that patient. Home visit, ASHA or MCH services caretaker give the home visit, and they are paying for they are the paid one for the home visit. And if they promote for institutional delivery, the additional payment the government give to the ASHA or Anganwadi worker. Then perinatal advice. In perinatal advice, more receptive to advice concerning her about baby at this time. We have to focus now for the baby. Then diet, personal hygiene and exercise is very important. We have to address that. In the diet, mostly protein should be 15 gram to 25 gram on the per day basis. If mother is lactating, then she have to take more 550 kilocalories per day. The weight gain history should be whatever previous weight was there, we have to note down. After that 11 to 12 kg she should gain weight. She have to gain weight during the pregnancy. Average 6.5 kg weight gain because of poor Indian women diet or malnutrition. And balanced and adequate diet prescribed to the mother, and tell her about what is the importance of nutritional constituent. All these diet related advice we have to give to the mother. Then importance of personal hygiene, like personal cleanliness, bath every day, clean water and clothes, hair should be kept clean and tidy, bowel habit should be proper, light exercise and light household work are very important to do, because to do the light exercise. Care of breast during the pregnancy or after the pregnancy is very important for the breastfeeding. So we will tell about the breast care and cleanliness of breast. Then last 2 months of pregnancy, breast should be massaged to milk and colostrum and to prevent the blocking or cracking of the duct. This is the method by which inverted nipple we can minimize that with the help of shield. Exercise and relaxation during the pregnancy. This is a basic exercise during the relaxation during the pregnancy. And alternate leg rising improve the tone of abdominal muscle, and semi-prone position she can use for the sleep position. In subjective component, if mother is very fatigued and she is having insomnia, then special treatment for that. If she is having morning sickness, that is nausea and vomiting are due to probable because of hormonal changes. If she is preemie, then morning sickness is very much common in preemie up to the 16th week. So dry diet or dry carbohydrate diet in the morning is advisable to reduce the morning sickness during the pregnancy. If constipation is there, it is due to part of effect of steroid on smooth muscle, and in the part due to the obstruction by large gravida uterus. So bowel motions every 2 or 3rd day is perfectly consistent with the good health. It is not required daily bowel movement should be there during the pregnancy. And we will advise more and more fibrous diet to reduce the constipation during the pregnancy. Heartburn is also very common because of uterus size. Enlarged uterus encourage some degree of hiatus hernia as pregnancy and in advance. So symptom is due to esophageal reflux and gastric acid. So it is not antacids we can prescribe, but not required on the daily basis. After delivery, that all symptoms will gone and everything will be normal. Pressure in pelvis because of uterus is also very normal. We have to give pelvic exercises for that, and we have to tell them this is completely normal, so no need to worry about that. If hemorrhoid is there, then we will treat that hemorrhoid. And muscle relaxation therapies also we will advise. This is the vaginal examination. We will not go in this. If any kind of addiction is there, tobacco, alcohol, smoking, dry tobacco, then we have that female have to cut down that, because we have to tell whatever she is taking that directly affect to the baby. So good habit will promote good health to the baby. Oral hygiene and sexual intercourse should be normal, but it will be restricted after in third trimester. Drugs, whatever advisable and essential drugs are there, that only we will advise. Otherwise, no extra drug is needed. Additional drugs are completely no, because it can cause the adverse effect to the babies, like it can damage to the nervous system, it can cause deafness, growth retardation, and deform hands and legs, like thalidomide. If she is taking for certain diseases, then it can cause deform hand and feet in the baby. Nerve damages can also happen. So drug intake should be very much less. If essential, then only she can take. Exposure to the radiation is completely no. If any kind of warning signs are present during the pregnancy, then she should immediately run to the hospital and take the medications. The main warning signs are swelling in the feet, or headache, blurring of vision, bleeding per vagina, or discharge per vagina. If any kind of any of these sign, she will feel any sign during the pregnancy, immediately she should take help of physician, because this will directly lead to the abortion kind of or PPH kind of thing. So these are the very alarming sign, and advice for this alarming sign and proper precaution and should be taken by ASHA or Anganwadi worker on healthcare taker. So all this is about ANC, antenatal, intranatal and postnatal period. It is not possible. MCH chapter is very huge chapter. It is not possible to cover each and everything in this chapter, but I will try to cover it most of the part. Second part of this ANC antenatal care we will discuss in another class, and one or two class we will try to finish this MCH chapter, so that we can take your other subject other topic also. So if this is for all for this session, we will discuss something else in the next session. Thank you.